Your outer style should mirror the future version of you, not a past one. So really get in line with, who am I becoming?
You're not here for the same old, same old. You're not here for just tips. You're here because something in you knows it's time to change. Not just how you lead, but how you live. I'm Janet Ioli, and this is The Inner Edge, a podcast about leadership, self-mastery, resilience, and reinvention for a new world era. Real life, whole self, let's go there. Welcome to The Inner Edge.
Welcome back to The Inner Edge. There's a moment in your life when you realize that you have your own style, and the style isn't all about your clothes. It's about the energy you carry, the impression you leave with people, and the feeling you get when you're being fully yourself. So today's episode is about personal style, not as a fashion or a trend, but about discovering a deeper expression of your own identity. It really is the outer translation of the inner work we talk about here on The Inner Edge. And I think personal style is right on target. So you already have a personal style. We all do. The question is whether it's accidental, it's by default, or is it intentional? Does it really reflect who you are and what you want to project into the world? Also, does it reflect and is it aligned with who you're becoming? Or is it an inherited version of someone else or of someone that you were that no longer exists? When your style is consciously chosen, you don't just change how you look, you change how you show up consistently. And it really is a big part of your presence. So let me get this right off the bat. A lot of people dismiss when we talk about style and personal style as superficial. Like it's superficial, it's shallow, style doesn't matter. But style really is interpersonal communication. Before you speak, your style communicates your confidence, your energy, your values, and it's an important part of your presence. The most important communication, though, is internal. The right style reinforces, this is who I am now. This is how I honor myself. So I like to think of personal style as the outer edge, the outer shell of your inner identity. Now, many people, when you look at their outer style, freeze their style at a particular chapter in their life. When they started a career, when they became a parent, when they gained weight or lost weight, or when they stopped paying attention to the outer part of themselves. Your wardrobe is anchored to a previous version of yourself, and it really doesn't fit the person you are. And this is kind of friction. It's basically, you don't look like the person you really are. And so, okay, what are you saying here, Janet? I'm confused. You sound like you're all over the place. Your style's not a costume and it's not a performance. We're not talking about impressing others. What we're talking about is really understanding your identity and expressing it so that what you look like on the outside is intentional, grounded, honest, aligned, and empowering, and it matches who you are on the inside. When you wear something that reflects who you are and who you're becoming, your posture is different, your confidence rises, and your presence strengthens because you're leaving a mark of, this is me, this is my personality, this is who I am, this is who I represent. So we're talking about image, we're talking about the outside. Before you buy anything or clean out a single drawer in your closet, to try to become more of your personal style, I want you to reflect on 3 questions as you try and embark on a personal style this year. First question, who am I becoming now? Your outer style should mirror the future version of you, not a past one. So really get in line with, who am I becoming? Second question, how do I want to feel when I walk in a room? Powerful, grounded, modern, warm, creative? Choose the emotional tone you want to lead with and that you want to lead with others, because that needs to be reflected in your personal style. And then third question is, what am I ready to let go of? Some of the old clothes that we wear may have old energy and may reflect someone we were in the past. Release what no longer reflects who you are now. I'll give you a couple examples of this. I know, when I was younger in high school, et cetera, I had things that I liked. I was very, very conditioned, I think, by my mother and by the women around me of what it was appropriate to wear, what's not appropriate to wear, how to wear my hair. My mother hated long hair on me. She said, it's too wild. It doesn't look good. You always need to have very groomed hair, especially in the profession that you're going to go into. Certain clothes, don't wear denim, don't wear jeans all the time, because then you won't look polished enough. So I remember when I was in high school and even college, I was very, very like dressed up. Like I would always be wearing a skirt and tights and although that looked great and I liked it and I had a big fashion sense, it really did not reflect who I was on the inside, which was a little edgy, which was a little quirky, a lot of different styles together, right? So there was an artist part of me, there was the corporate part of me, there's so many different parts. And so finding my own personal flair took time to find things that were in alignment with who I was, not who my mother wanted me to be, not who the people around me and my society and culture wanted me to be. It was like, what reflects me? And so that took a while. And here's a simple, powerful framework for creating your own style and really figuring out what looks best on you and what reflects you. First of all, there's this whole notion, and stylists call this silhouette, the shape and structure that feels most like you. And so what I realized is where there are a lot of clothes, I'm a little bit under 5'4". I have a petite frame, I'm 110 pounds or less, right? I fluctuate between 105 and 110. So I'm small. And there are certain clothes that will overwhelm my silhouette. So things with a lot of pleats, things that are really, really baggy, they just don't feel most like me. They feel like overwhelming and they drown me. So that's the one thing, is shape and silhouette is really important. The other thing is, what are the types of colors and tones that elevate your energy and presence? I like black a lot because I think it's kind of edgy. And so I wear a lot of black, but I also like red. I wear greens, so what makes you feel good in terms of color? That's another important thing. I know I don't feel really good in yellows or oranges or things that are way too bright. That doesn't reflect my style, which is a little more edgy, sophisticated. That's more of my essence. The other thing is signature pieces. What are one or two items that instantly say to you, this is me? There's a couple things in your wardrobe that reflects me. For me, I have a couple things that are a little bit edgy. Like I have a pair of red boots that this is me. Those red boots are me. I have a jacket that is, very tailored. It's corporate, but in the back it says punk on the back, and it's got a few sequins, etc. There are some pieces. I have some blazers that have writing on them. Those are me. They're corporate. But they're edgy. So, what are some of those things for you? That's reflecting your style and what you want to leave in the room. And finally, the other piece is this is going to sound funny, but is there emotional alignment with how you're presenting yourself? Does it feel like the person you are also becoming, not just the person you were in the past? And so I think that's a piece of a question to ask yourself. So if you want to reset your style, I'm going to give you today a step-by-step practical style reset, and beginning right now. So first of all, the first thing to do if you're trying to find your personal style is define your style words. Choose 3 words that represent the essence of who you are and who you are becoming. 3 words. If we were to describe you in 3 words, what is it that you want to be? So it could be edgy, confident. I just said them, right? Sophisticated. For me, I said sophisticated, edgy, confident, a little bit thought provoking, a little futuristic, a little innovative, creative. Those types of things come to my mind. Polished is also another word for me. Try on your clothes with those words in mind. If it doesn't align with the words, this may not be the style that is aligned with your next chapter of yourself and your personal style. Third, I would say create a personal style section in your closet for your future self. And start putting items in that section of your closet that are most aligned with who you are and who you're becoming, that feel like, wow, I feel really good. This is the message I want to be sending with my style. And start building that section. And maybe, that red velour tracksuit that you bought 10 years ago isn't really aligned with that part of you. And so that's a sign to get rid of that, right? Notice how clothing shifts your energy. And you'll know when you put on something that feels aligned with this intention that you have of, okay, I am dressing and I am presenting myself in the way that is aligned with my being and who I'm wanting to be and how I want to project myself. It should feel more aligned. And so evolve your wardrobe gradually. You don't need to totally overhaul everything and throw everything out. Just intentionally upgrade to help you be more aligned with yourself. For example, today I'm wearing this a sweater, and it's very aligned with my brand. It says limited edition on it. And I like it because it's still black and gray, so kind of the neutral colors, but it's sequined writing on it, and it's a little edgy. But I can wear it with different things, but it reflects who I am. And it doesn't mean that I'm what's the word? Arrogant, and I'm saying limited edition. But what I'm projecting is, this one of a kind, this unique personality that I am trying to personify. When your style reflects your identity, you send a message to yourself that I'm allowed to be seen. I honor who I am and who I'm becoming, and I have the courage to reflect that in the way that I show up and in the messages I portray. This isn't vanity. It's self-respect, it's alignment, and it's really personal leadership, because your personal style is what people see first before you even open your mouth. So like I said at the very beginning, personal style is important because it's a form of communication. And I know, there's this whole I'm going to do a whole episode on, aligning it with the field that you're in. For example, if you're in the corporate world, you can't dress like a rock star and wearing, your leather jackets. Depending, if you own your own company, you probably can. But, how do you add in those elements of personality and style that fit you? And you're not exactly. I worked for a company which was a very conservative company, and everybody was wearing a white shirt and a blue pantsuit or a black pantsuit. I didn't dress that way. I did wear the pantsuit, but I would always throw in a little bit of an edge because that was part of my personal style, and it was totally appropriate. But there was always an edge to it, a red pump or something different to it. As you move into the rest of this year, See your personal style as an evolution of you, not as a task or another thing to put on your to-do list, but something to explore and an invitation to show up more fully you, more truthfully and more powerfully within the confines of whatever system you're operating in. I would challenge you to choose one small shift this week that reflects your personal style, whether it's wearing that red blazer or wearing a sweater that says limited edition on it, or whatever it is that reflects you. Notice how it makes you feel because what you're wearing aligns with who you are on the inside. It's pretty powerful when that happens. And your style isn't about who you've been or who someone conditioned you to be. It's about the future person you're stepping into. That's alignment. And aligning your outside personal style with your inside is part of the inner edge.